In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your door lock actuator. It's located right in here behind the door panel, so obviously we'll have to take this off. To remove this door panel, I'm going to start with this piece over here, the master switch panel. Pop it up, flip it over, you'll see all the electrical connectors. Go ahead and unplug all of these. They all have a little tab that locks them in, and if you press that tab, you can pull the wires right out. Next, I want to take out the door handle bezel. Either use a trim tool or just your fingers. Pry from the back side of it, just like this. And then continue prying towards the front. Remove it. There's going to be a Phillips head screw right here. We'll have to take that out. Set it aside safely. On the bottom of the door, there will be two Phillips head screws, one on each end. Go ahead and remove both. Right in front of the grab handle here, where you removed the switch panel, there's going to be a 7mm bolt. Go ahead and remove this one. There it is, set it aside. At this point, you can grab the door panel and lift it up. It'll pop out of place. Let's also remove the speaker, this time with a 6mm socket. Don't go too far with it, because it still has wires connecting it. Flip it over. Right here you'll see the connector. Next, remove this piece right here, 7mm bolts. Set it aside safely. Now let's peel off this vapor barrier. Set it aside. If you look on the side of the door right here, you'll see a pin with an 11mm nut right next to it. Go ahead and unbolt this. To go further, I'm going to have to unbolt the door latch right here. And to get even more room, I'm going to unbolt the window track right at the bottom over here with an 11mm socket. Now I'm going to use a T27 Torx bit, remove these 3 bolts that hold on the door latch. Now you want to reach in through this opening, right where the window regulator gets bolted on, grab onto this actuator. You'll see that it's hooked on right over here with, it's that second hook right there. Now you can move everything around and hopefully you can get the right angle that you need to pop this rod out of here. There it goes. Okay. Keep in mind this is still connected. On the back side over here, let's just pop off the retainer for the electrical wire and connector. And then let's disconnect this. Just lift up on this tab, push it away. And here is your door lock actuator. With the new actuator, I'm going to start by plugging it in, just like that. And then I'm going to secure the wiring harness on this bracket over here. And now let's put it in the door, let it hook it into its spot. There we go. All right, so that's in. Now let's bring this down and line it up with where it needs to mount. And I'm going to put the nut on temporarily just to secure it into place here. Now with the actuator secured temporarily, let's resecure the door latch. Snug it up. Resecure the window track, as well as the lock actuator. Now before we button everything up, let's give it a test. Plug in the lock switch. Let's try it out. Yep. Definitely works. Perfect. Let's button everything back up. Grab your vapor barrier and make sure the wires all go through and just try to stick it on the best you can. If it doesn't stick anymore, well, you could use some tape, but it's a good idea to always put this back because it does protect the door panel and it makes sure that water doesn't get in here. Next, put this piece back. This one had the two 7mm headed bolts. Snug this up. Reconnect the speaker and line it up. Start in the four 6mm headed screws that secure it to the door. Snug it up. Okay. Make sure it doesn't rattle, otherwise it'll be super annoying when you listen to music. And if it does, you can usually put a piece of foam behind it and then squish that foam. That'll make sure it doesn't rattle. Put on the door panel, you can see it has a bunch of hooks on the bottom and a couple in the middle, and they need to slide down. Push the wires through this hole, line up the lock indicator at the top, otherwise you'll crush it and bend the rod. And then push this up, in, and down. Oops, lock indicator popped out. All right. Looks like it's in everywhere. Feel around it. If it feels like there's a large gap between the panel and the door itself, that means the hooks aren't in. But this one feels perfect. So, having said that, let's bolt it back into place. I'm going to start with this Phillips head screw at the door handle. Make sure it's nice and snug. And then let's get the door handle bezel back in. It has a tab at the back that needs to slide in first, and then a clip at the front, just like that. There's a 7mm screw that goes right in here, right next to the grab handle. Okay, since I'm in this area, I might as well put the window switch back in, plug in all the connectors. Slide the back in first because it has this hook that needs to lock in, and then the front has just a clip. Pop it in. And at the bottom of the door, in each corner, there is one Phillips head screw that secures the door panel in. And there you have it.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.